What's up, friends? It's your girl Nikki Easton, the mogul. This is where every voice is heard. This is my second edition of the Androgynous experience, and I call this the TomBoy effect. From what I can remember from the first episode where I left off is I decided to start playing basketball and kind of getting into that phase. I played in middle school and I was kind of getting ready, to go into high school, which is kind of where I adopted, more of the name TomBoy, right? So from what I can remember, I had those moments where I liked to wear baggy clothes like the sweatpants and sweatsuits that you get when you're playing basketball. Then I had those moments where I felt like I wanted to wear a tighter fit jean because of certain attention that it brought. See, what I learned, or what I can remember or realize now, I would say, is that back then, because I was beating all the guys on the court, I wasn't, I would say, I couldn't get their attention as to be liked, if that makes sense. So I felt like that maybe if I started to dress, a certain way, then maybe I gained their attention. I don't remember having a lot of male friends in that way that may have liked me that I knew of, but of course I had a lot more female friends. My only thing was I couldn't really relate to them because they did and liked some of the things I didn't like. They wanted to go get their nails done. They wanted to go get their hair done. I think I only did that because most time I was forced to do so, and at the time I had a relaxer. So think about that, like going to get your hair done and having the product and stuff on and going through that whole process. And I remember me going to get my nails done one time, and I got my nails done and I went to go play basketball the next day, and I couldn't dribble the ball like I normally would. And I remember taking them things off very quickly after that. I was like, yeah, that's not really for me. Nope, I don't remember having my feet done or anything like that. I just was like, yeah, no, that girly side was just not really for me. The only close part I got to the girly was maybe wearing a more tight-fitting shirt or tight-fitting pants at one particular point. But I kind of had that Aaliyah feel. So if I had a tight shirt on, I had on baggy pants. If I had on a baggy shirt, it was more like tight clothes. Or sometimes, I did both, but not often. Majority, I would wear polos or I had polos. Tommy Hilfiger was big during the time. Chaps was big during the time. So I still kind of had that masculine feel, but I wore pants. I wasn't really in skirts, anything like that. Stockings every now and then when I went to church. I used to go to church every Sunday, Wednesday, and sometimes Monday nights. I was in there all the time. Mom had us in there all the time. Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday twice, 2 services. So, I was already, I would say, grounded in a spiritual, religious kind of family. So that was just kind of part of my journey that I can remember, in high school. I never really was the one that was super involved in, like doing government stuff for the school. I think I got like a superlative of most athletic, and it's funny because guys, would come to my games, and what they would comment about made me feel a little self-conscious, right? I'm thinking you coming to comment and compliment me on how I do in the game, but because that really wasn't happening, it was like, no, I'm coming there to watch you shoot free throws because I get to look at your backside or your butt. Like, hey, that didn't make me feel comfortable at all. It made me kind of a little self-conscious because I felt like you might have been undressing me, with your eyes while I'm trying to concentrate to shoot a free throw. That ain't cool, And I think when I would know that from them, when they got on the court, I want to humiliate them even more. Just, during the recess time or time we got to play basketball. But because there wasn't a lot of other females other than ones that was on my team that was into that, I kind of still never found my ground. I never really found it. I wasn't really into like the drama or acting or anything like that. I know I was good at math, because my mom's a math teacher, and I knew that I liked to play basketball. That was it. That's just what I devoted myself to. It was my outlet for dealing with a lot of stuff, and that's just kind of what I went to, in high school, was play ball and do good. Like I said before on the first edition, was my mom didn't play about, not having your grades to a certain point, to play basketball. You know what I mean? Like, church was first, and then school, and then basketball. And if I didn't keep my grades up, and if I didn't go to church, I couldn't play basketball. If there was things that happened on Wednesday nights, like games and stuff, I couldn't play. you know, because I had to go to church. So that was something that, of course, during the time you're going through, you mad. I know I was mad because I feel like I'm missing out on playing ball. It was something that I love. I'm like, I don't understand why I got to go to church. But honestly, I'm a lot more thankful that she did that, because that kept me grounded on the most important thing. Because without God, I couldn't be here. I couldn't have the ability to do what I'm doing. And it helped me stay focused on my books so I could really adopt the student athlete mentality that I needed when I started college, you know, when I went to college. But it was a struggle because I used to have to pick on, like, I just wanted to stay outside and play basketball because I just felt a sense of relief and a sense of, I would say, control and strength. And I was in control on that court. You know, I got a chance to show people what I was capable of, and I just practiced all the time. You know, anytime that I was going through some things or things wasn't right, you know, at home, I would grab a basketball and go dribble outside, and I used to always think, like, I'm gonna do this better than this guy, or I could see them do this move, I'm gonna do it like that, I'm gonna cross them over, blah blah blah. And you know, my brother put the ball in my hand, so a lot of me wanted to be better than him, even though he was really, really good. But he put the ball in my hand. You know, my dad was doing his bodybuilding and stuff, so he was kind of showing me the way as far as being able to never give up. But when it came to basketball, my brother put that ball in my hand, and we used to go to the court all the time. So it was just, one, trying to get better at it, but two, I used to want to get so good so I can beat him. And I remember, like, maybe one time out of my whole career of me playing my brother that I beat him. Maybe one time. He may not say that I did, but I know I beat him like one time. It wasn't by a lot. It might have been like a game-winning shot, but I worked hard for that, and I was able to say that one time. That one time. It made me think of that movie Little Giants. One time. That leaves one time. So, you know, I think I prided myself off of that. I don't remember having too many, like, boyfriends, I would say, in high school. You know, I was attracted, you know, to guys. I just don't think that I was that attractive to them because I played sports like them. Then when I would find, you know, one or two, it was hard for me to battle or get over the fact that I just beat them on the court, or the fact that I was better than them, you know, on the court, or to get them to look at me in that way because I played sports. And most of the time, basketball players wasn't into other female basketball players. That wasn't a thing. But I did find one or two that, you know, I caught their attention because it was new for me. My mom wasn't with that, like, oh, he can just come over and hang and y'all can be there with the door closed. You know, never really went through that. That wasn't a part of it at all. And honestly, I still chose basketball in school over any guy that liked me at the time. So sometimes that was good, sometimes it's bad, but I'm glad, looking back on it, I did, because I had this phobia of, you know, somehow getting pregnant and not being able to go to college. Like how in Love and Basketball, that was like my movie of all movies. I did not want to be super involved in guys or dating because I didn't want anything to mess up me having a chance to go to a Division I school in basketball. And that's what I committed myself to. I remember I used to wear like a lot of sweatsuits, you know what I'm saying? Sweatsuits with shirts, you know, the nice little windbreaker suits. That's what it is, windbreaker suits with a nice little Nike, you know, shirt, had the fresh Nikes on. That was my comfortable outfit. Looking back on it, that was so masculine. It was so masculine, but honestly, that's what we had to wear when we played sports or getting ready to warm up for the game. That's what we had to wear, and honestly, that was the most comfortable I was in. I don't know if it was a way for me to cover up because of how guys made me feel from them coming to see me in my games, and they're watching my backside or watching me run up and down the court and thinking all types of things. I don't know if that was a way, but looking back on it, it probably played a role, you know, in it. It probably had something to do with it, but the most comfortable I was in was a loose shirt and some loose jeans and some nice kicks. I felt comfortable. I felt like I was in my element, and that's kind of how I just started adopting the tomboy. Even though I still was on that battle of, oh, I'm a girl, I didn't get the whole thing, are you a boy, as much as I did in like elementary and middle school. You know what I mean? I didn't get that as much. I think people just love to see me play basketball, and honestly, that's what I became to be known for. And if I wasn't doing that, then people are like, why are you not doing it? So I started to adopt it. But I think at some point I felt like I started playing basketball for other people. I felt like that people really wasn't open to know me or see me be able to do anything other than basketball. So it was bittersweet, even though I really, really love the sport, you know. I love the sport. I committed myself to it. I still had to deal with the personal things of, you know, identifying what's going on or what I need to do or how I should be. But I loved basketball. I loved it. And honestly, I felt like it became very pressuring, you know, for me because I was good, you know, and I wanted to get a Division I scholarship. I prided myself off the Love and Basketball movie. Like, that's just gonna be me. I'm gonna be just like that. I literally, imitated all of it, you know, and I was wanting that Division I. I was with that person, like, if you was a school that didn't play on TV, don't contact me, which is interesting when I get to that part of the college part of me, you know. I was like, if you don't play on TV, don't contact me. Because I had a goal to say, I want to play on TV and I want to play for a Division I basketball program. You know what I mean? I wanted to do that. I was a very big Dawn Staley fan. I wanted to follow wherever she was coaching and all of that. And I had a coach that was new that didn't know how to deal with a player like me. She didn't know how to put me out there in that way. But I'm so thankful for her because, like, she was learning it, but she still did what she could do. And when those schools started calling in, she was like, I could have done more. But it was kind of towards the end of my basketball season, my senior year. And it made me realize something just now, what happened during that time. I did get a chance to go to my senior prom. And you know what's funny? I had a guy who, you know, asked me out, which kind of shocked me, you know, that day because I'm like, oh, what? I'm kind of dressed like you, got a shirt and jeans on, you know. Hey, you want to go to the prom? But the funny thing is he was, I guess, feeling those feelings the whole time, and I had no idea. That's the crazy thing, how God works. Whatever, came up to me, asked me out to the prom, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, you know, Mom, I got a date. I think my mom felt good that day. I can't remember exactly how she responded. But what was funny is I went to the senior prom. Of course, I had on a dress, right? Dress, my back was out. I remember talking to my sister. My hair was done. I had a little makeup on. You know, my sister and her friend got me all ready and all of that. We got my friends together, and we started going. I think we went out to eat first, and we finally show up at prom. And I remember walking in, right? And people saw me in a dress. Now, mind you, they never really seen me in that way, never had the makeup or anything. People saw me in a dress and was like, just like this, like how my mouth is open, just wide open, like, who is that? Oh my God, that's Nikki. That's basketball player Nikki? Oh man. And I had a great time. I had on some uncomfortable underwear that day, and I was like, you know what? I will never wear a thong in my life. It just was not comfortable, and I didn't see how people did it. But you know what was funny? When I went back to school that Monday, all the guys, a lot of the guys was like, hey, yeah, when can we go out? Hey, yeah, I saw you at prom, da 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 da. And immediately that made me feel like, so you only want to talk to me because of how I look in a dress? And I think that turned me away again to women's clothes. It turned me off to that whole experience that I was just like, oh, that's only going to get me this particular attention. I don't understand how that has to define me to be known or to be accepted or to be quote unquote attractive. So that, in my whole mentality of challenging and wanting to be better than guys and all of this stuff, I think that made me be rebellious to the fact of wearing women's clothing, you know? Interesting how that happened. No, I didn't go out with most of the people who asked me out. I was just like, yeah, nah, because it made me feel like you're only talking to me because I had on a dress, you know, and I wasn't down with that. But it helped me understand that if I have to want to get the attention from guys, I got to wear female clothing. And I don't know how I feel about that. But I stuck with that, and that continued to go with me into my college years. But you got to stay tuned on the next episode when I talk about my college years, all right? I want to thank Katrina again for giving me the opportunity to give my story and to share my story on this YouTube channel where every voice is heard. Thank you guys for the love and support, and continue to stay tuned in to the Androgynous Experience. This is Nikki Easton the Mogul. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next episode in 2 weeks. Later.